everyone, it's Sami from Sami's Sweet Life, and today I'm doing my Fitbit Versa review for you guys. I have had this for about a month now, and I'm going to share what I like, what I don't like, and ultimately I am returning it. So I'm actually going to get an Apple Watch. I decided I really wanted more smart features than I realized. The Fitbit Versa is kind of a combination between a Fitbit fitness tracker and a smartwatch, and they really just totally missed the mark as far as I'm concerned for the actual smartwatch features. It's got a couple of things that I really have liked using, but they're not very intuitive. I find the interface to be kind of clunky and not well thought out. It's not very smooth to use, and I've had a lot of trouble just with the day-to-day managing of it. It's just not a quick, fluid system. Like if you use an Apple product, it's smooth and things scroll flawlessly. This one I've had some trouble with. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade to an Apple Watch, and I thought, I could get by with just this. This one is $199 retail, and the Apple Watch that I'm looking at is $359 retail. So I'm paying a lot more for the Apple Watch, but I think I'm getting more features that I'm actually looking for. So I would say if you really want a Fitbit just for fitness tracking, this would be a great way to go. I would also recommend looking at like the smaller ones that don't have all the smartwatch features, because you can save yourself a little bit of money getting the cheaper ones. I like this one for the fitness tracking aspects. It has the heart rate monitor, it is waterproof, and it does stairs. So I really wanted all three of those things incorporated in the Fitbit that I purchased. And so this one actually does that. Like I said, I really love the fitness tracking aspects of it. I love their fitness app. And I thought if I don't really like the activity tracking on the Apple Watch, that I would get a really small Fitbit, like the Fitbit I don't know what it's called, Flex. It's the really small one. It won't have all the same features, but it will be waterproof. I think the Flex doesn't do heart rate or stairs, so I'd be losing some of the fitness Fitbit tracking things that I could get with this one, but it would be smaller, and I could also have all the smartwatch features with the Apple Watch. So I'm going to try just using the Apple Watch and seeing if I can like the steps and activity stuff. When I was looking at reviews, I chose this one over the Apple Watch because I really do care about the fitness tracking aspects of it, and I feel like the app and the interfacing for the fitness and activity stuff is so much nicer in the Fitbit than it is in the Apple Watch. So I'm going to try it out. I'm going to try to see if I like it, and if not, I will get a Fitbit on top of the Apple Watch, just not this, this big one. I won't have two big giant watches next to each other. So anyway, I'm going to dive into talking about some of the things I like and don't like. I can kind of replicate them on camera. So one of the things with this watch is it turns itself off pretty quickly, and then you flip your wrist to get it to turn back on. And I notice sometimes it takes me like 2 or 3 tries to flick my wrist to get the screen to come back on. And you can also double tap it, and I find that it's really annoying when you double tap it because it changes the settings. I'll show you up close, but there is a way to see your stairs, your steps, your calories burned, and if you tap it, it messes with that. It'll rotate you through those trackings. I find that I want to see the steps mostly, and I find trying to like get back to the steps after I've already double tapped it and gotten on to another one is hard. I don't always get it right, and I'm sitting there tapping forever to try to get back to the right one, and if I tap too quickly and I don't wait long enough, it will skip right over the steps, and I'll have to try again to get to the steps, and I find it really, really annoying. I want to be able to tap the screen and actually get it to do what it's supposed to do. As far as holding up, I think it has worked really well. I did take this to the beach for a week. There is not a single scuff or scratch or mark on it at all. I haven't babied it at all. I did bonk it into stuff. I did play in the sand at the beach and stuff, and it's held up perfectly. It is completely waterproof. I have no worries about that. I've taken it into the ocean. I've taken it into swimming pools, and it's great. I really love the color of this one that I picked. I got the rose gold aluminum, and it comes with a little peachy band, which I have also liked. I find that these silicone bands really do collect moisture underneath them, so I do have to dry this really well when I get out of the pool. And also if I'm like sweating up a storm, it will get sweaty underneath this silicone band because there's nowhere for the air to really escape from it. But other than that, I found the band to be really comfortable. I did get a third-party band, and I want to talk about that for just a second. I have a nickel allergy. I can only wear like high-quality gold jewelry. I break out with some of the cheaper stuff, and I was really worried about the metal on this. I'd seen a lot of reports that the metal that they use for the Fitbits does have nickel in them, and so people with nickel allergies tend to break out when they use the Fitbits. And now I did not find myself breaking out at all with the Fitbit itself or with the clasp on here, but I did get a third-party band with a little metal clasp, and I am still rashy from wearing that just a couple of days. So I still have a little bit of a rash from that one, but the Fitbit brand ones itself did not cause me any irritation or trouble at all, which I was really happy about. First up, when I was getting this set up, I got a reminder. That's one of the things I love about the Fitbit. It does really encourage you and get you moving. It has reminders on here where it will vibrate every hour of your set like activity window. So you set the start time and the end time. I have mine running from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So I have that goal of every hour you take 250 steps. So it will remind you at the last 10 minutes of the hour that you have so many steps left, and it'll tell you you have 50 steps left this hour, or however many steps you have left in that 250 steps. And I really like that. It keeps me up and moving and keeps me motivated. And like this one says, I have 1,442 steps more to hit your daily goal. So it reminds me on my phone, and then this one every hour will remind me to take the steps if I hadn't already hit that 250 steps per hour. So anyway, I pulled this up. I wanted to show you guys the Fitbit app itself. So for one of the things I really love about the Fitbit is the app itself. I find the app to be really helpful in tracking everything. I find it really motivating to see all of these rings turn to green, which doesn't always happen for me. I definitely end up not getting that mileage one, especially. I am kind of short, so it doesn't always pan out that my steps equal the 5 miles, which is the goal for this one. And you can set these goals too, by the way. You can change them and it will automatically track the exercise. Like here's a really good one where I hit all of them. We did hiking that day, but I really love the way this app is. You can change these around. You can add things to the list of things to track on here. So if you don't want to track your sleep, you can take that one off. But I really love going through this and looking at everything, and you can track your steps and see graphs and see everything listed out. You can click this for more details and look at your steps for 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, and 1 year. So I think it's really, really helpful. So this was June here. I had gotten it mid-June. And then here's July. So I really love the app. I just can't say enough great things about the app itself. I think it's just a great fitness tracking thing, and I find it really motivating for me to see all of this. And this is that steps per hour, 250 plus steps per hour. So far I've hit 7 of my 12 hours here. And it will show you like the hours you hit and miss. But I just love the app. I think it's really intuitive and helpful, and you can track your workouts and stuff. It automatically tracked my swimming that we did yesterday. And it also will tell you like your fat, your cardio, and your peak time is that red, which is the peak. My heart rate went up really high on that. But it just automatically tracks your workouts, and I find it really helpful and really motivating to see all of this put out in graphs and all sorts of things. You can see here it tracks every day that I exercised, which is really just, I love it. I love everything about this part of the app here. What I find I don't like is the Smartwatch feature. So I click into the Versa itself up here at the top, and I find that there are hardly any apps. And what apps I do see actually just stink. Oh, it says it's unable to connect. I had to turn my Bluetooth on. So there is a to-do list app, and I was trying to make it work, and it just does not work. So if you click the to-do list app, it's just, you have to add each thing. You'll add it. Let's see, I'll just add one, testing, add it, and then you have to hit again, add, and go ahead and add it again. And so it's a lot of adding, and then in order to move them around or delete them, you have to go in under edit, and you actually have to delete them here. It doesn't show you which ones are actually completed. So if I go in here under apps, I have the to-do list here, and there's no customizing this, by the way. This is what it looks like. So you get just whatever you have on your list here. And if you check them off, you don't know they're checked off on here. So you have to manually, look at each one, decide if it's checked off or not checked off. You can rearrange them under that edit tab. but I find that it's really annoying that they do not disappear on here. So like if I'm going back to the app, and that's another thing right there actually that I do not like. If the screen goes dark and you hit this button here, it actually takes you back one screen. So it doesn't just open up to whatever screen you had open. So here's my to-do list. That one's still there. It's checked off, but it's still right up at the top where it was. I want it to automatically clean itself a little bit, automatically go away after a set number of times, and I want it to go down. So I can tap it once to try to get it back up. The tapping does not always work for me. And so the to-do list app is basically just not very functional for me at all. I do like the timer app, and this treasure trek one is kind of cute. I do have the treasure one set up on my shortcut right there. So if you're back at the main screen, you have two shortcuts. There's that one, and then my other shortcut is the music. So going back just a second, I'll zoom in on this since I think we're mostly done with the phone now. Okay. So looking at this, this is part of the thing that I have trouble with. You can pick out whatever face that you want. You go through the app and change the watch face. I find trouble, with the tapping. So if I tap it, I'm supposed to be going on to the calories burn, the stairs, the steps, and it rotates those three things, but I cannot always tap it and get it to respond. So like sometimes it responds like that, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know how I'm tapping it any different. And if I tap too fast, all of a sudden it'll scan through them. So that's been really irritating when I'm trying to, if I'm trying to flick my wrist, get the screen to try to turn back on, it doesn't turn on. If I tap it, it will rotate that thing when it turns itself back on. So I find that really, really obnoxious. I just can't get it down to where it actually does what it's supposed to do every time, or even close to every time. I'd say like I'm getting about 50%. I can turn my wrist and actually get it to turn on without having to tap it. And then, I hit that button as well. So if I have something else up, that'll cancel out whatever I have up on the screen. As far as the basic setup for this, you can scroll this way and get to your apps, and you can download the apps using your phone. I find this really not very quick at the snap to scroll through here, and it's actually seeming okay right now, but you only get 4 at a time, which I find really kind of annoying. There's no really quick way to scroll through this, and I found with the music, it's especially troublesome because I always have to go through that settings and hook up whatever Bluetooth I'm using. So I'm scrolling, trying to find exactly what I want. I could see if there were tons of apps, this would be even more obnoxious. Like right now I only have 3 pages of apps really, but I find it really annoying to only get 4 to choose from. We already talked about the to-do list, so let's talk about the music. This does work with Bluetooth headphones, and I find that the headphones automatically connect really easily with this, but I do not connect with my car's Bluetooth very easily at all. I always, every single time I go to my car and start my car, I have to go under the settings, go find the Bluetooth connection down here, and then hit it. And then it will connect to my car. And then after I do that, I have to go back, hit the back button a few times, scroll through and get to my music. And I do have the music on a shortcut, so I can also do it that way. I went ahead and deleted all my music. I have a bunch of like old CDs and some music on my phone from, iTunes. But to transfer music, you have to be hooked up to a computer, and you have to hit transfer music, and it will communicate. It sends all the music via Wi-Fi. You actually have to physically move the music, which I found not to be that annoying. I just kind of did it in the background when I was doing other things one day, and it was fine. And you can create playlists. I only have 1 on here. Like I said, I deleted all of it. You also have the option to shuffle all, but unless you're connected to Bluetooth, this will not work. So it's got my songs on here, and it does show you the names, but there it goes. It says no headphones or speaker connected. So you have to connect it to Bluetooth in order to hear it. There's no speakers on this, which I knew going into it, but I found that I can use it in my car, and instead of having like a bunch of CDs, I can have this, and it's really nice to have it, use the Bluetooth speaker in my car, but I have to scroll through, find the settings, go through the settings, like I said, and then go back to the music app and then find my music. And I found that the music app itself to be not that great. There's no good way to quickly get back to whatever song you're on. Okay, to show you guys the music app, I was gonna grab my headphones that I purchased, and I'd say the best thing about getting the Fitbit was actually having a reason to get Bluetooth headphones, so they're, you know, just connected to each other, but there's no wire to connect to anything else. They just work via Bluetooth. And I like the headphones so much. I actually have them so that they connect with my phone, so I can listen to podcasts and music on there as well. So it's actually blinking, and I had said earlier that I can get it to connect to my headphones easily, but not to my car, but actually it's not just automatically connecting. So again, I have to go under the settings, scroll down to Bluetooth and connect it, and it's just kind of a pain to have to go through this every time I want to listen to music. Like in the car, if I turn the car off, go in a store, come back out, I have to reconnect it every single time. Where if I'm just listening to music on my phone through my car, it automatically will just connect. So I find it really annoying, and I cannot go under my car settings and just pick the Fitbit and have it connect. I have to go through the stuff on here and then it will connect. So anyway, now these are connected to my Fitbit. Let's see. So it shows they're connected, and so now I can go to the music. I have to be canceled out of everything in order to hit that shortcut. It will show up on the screen. And so when it's playing, this is volume up and this is volume down. So I'm just going to turn it down as far as I can just so that it won't play. But let's see. I'll zoom in for you guys now. So this button is the volume up, this button's the volume down. And when I'm using this in the car, I can also just use the functions on my car as well. And I find that this is really nice, that it's big and it's up on my screen. But I find that if I back out of it and I have to like go look at anything else, I have to go all the way back to music. And it won't just automatically show me the song that's playing. I have to click in and open it again, so I don't get back to the screen super quickly. I feel like if you're playing music, it should just pop up with this anytime you go back to the music. So if I'm, you know, it's running right now. If I'm going back, I have to look up something else. I should be able to see, even here, like it's kind of buggy. It's not really fluid and smooth. So if I go back here and I want to play music again, when I press this button, it should pop up with that piece of music, whatever song I'm on, instead of this screen and I have to go in and click a few times to get to it. I find that really annoying that I can't just pop right back up to the music. Whereas if I'm using music on my phone, music's always up on my screen. So if as soon as I lock my phone, I'll have my music controls right up on my phone. I feel like once I hit that music button, that stuff should be popping up and it doesn't pop up. So I find that that's really not very helpful. There have been times when I've hit the back button going from apps, and this screen will just start flickering and it'll be like halfway open and flicker back and forth. And so there is some sort of like bugginess and kinks that need to be worked out, because it's not always just looking nice. It'll like flip, you know, half the screen on any of the sides and have like gray, almost like static on a TV, like gray and white static splotchiness, where this part's like wiggling back and forth as the gray part's kind of wiggling around the edges. And I found that to happen a few times where I've had to turn it off and turn it back on because it gets really buggy like that. Now, people have said that they don't really get the full 4+ days, which is what it says on here. 4+ day battery life, and I've used mine a bunch. I've used it for music and stuff, so I tend to charge it just a little bit. Like when I'm getting ready for bed, I'll be washing my face and stuff, I go ahead and put it on its charger for like 10 minutes. I think the most I've really gotten out of it is 3 days. So I found that, you know, charging it a little bit every day has been really helpful versus just using it for 3 days and having to plug it in for a more extended period of time. I just take it off when I'm getting ready for bed and plug it in, and then it's always just really nicely charged. There's one more thing I want to tell you about the music app. It has to be music you own. You can also stream music through 2 things that they have in their app store, which is Pandora and Deezer, which I've never used. But Pandora is the one that you pay for. So it's not just the free Pandora, the ad listening, it's the one you have to pay for. So those are the only ways you can really stream music through here. The other music in this one, you actually have to physically transfer. Like I said, it has to be music that you own on a CD or, you know, in the iTunes store. It has to be actual physical files that you're transferring over. So that is just something to note. The only other thing to show you is how to look at your stats. You can't look at everything like you can on the, you know, the Fitbit app on your phone, but it shows you some of your tracking stuff on here. I kept trying to see how many steps I have left in that hour, but I sometimes can see it and sometimes I can't, and I don't ever remember how to get back to it. But you can see, you know, your basic stats there. I picked out a face that shows me the things on here, but like I said, I have trouble rotating through them. You can see I'm like, I don't know how to get it to do the one I want. I always want it on one, and it takes me a while to get back to the steps. There's the steps. The only other thing I want to mention about this is the shortcut keys are set to the 2 apps that you have in the front, which I find really annoying. So I can just flip to this, get 4 apps, but those are 2 right already here. So I find it annoying that they have to be in these positions. I wish I could just automatically be able to tell, you know, on here which apps I want to be shortcuts, so I don't have to have them on the main screen, because I can just easily do this to get to those 2 apps, or press the buttons to get to those 2 apps. And I'd rather have 4 different apps here plus 2 buttons, so I'm easily accessing 6 different apps versus only accessing 4 different apps. So I find the shortcuts kind of useless, since I just have to, you know, scroll one and tap those 2 anyway. I just find that things like that are just not very well thought out. I think it would be much better to be able to set them in your phone and be able to choose any apps in any position, so that you have whatever apps you want in the front and then whatever apps you want on the shortcut buttons. So overall, my main issues with it were I didn't have some of the features that I wanted with the Apple Watch, which when I get the Apple Watch, I'll talk about, you know, the Apple Watch side of things. I just wanted a couple more smart features that this one didn't offer. I found the apps really, really lacking for this. And I find the setup for this not very fluid for scrolling or for tapping or for just like glancing down at it on my wrist. I had trouble with that kind of part of it. I really felt that for $200, I should get a little bit better of a product. It definitely feels like a first generation project that's not got all its kinks worked out. And so I definitely am returning this. I am going to actually drop it off after filming this video, but I wanted to share this review with you guys because I had mentioned it. I had done an unboxing and I really wanted to walk you through everything. I really wanted to love it because I just love the Fitbit app. I love the activity tracking, but the rest of it I totally don't like. So I just wanted to share with you guys, and I hope you found this review helpful if you're thinking about a Fitbit or if you're thinking about an Apple Watch. I'm definitely going with the Apple Watch after experiencing this Fitbit. And like I said, I may get one of the slimmer Fitbits just so I can track the steps and the activity part of it. But this one is a definite no for me. I hope you give this video a thumbs up and like it and subscribe so you can follow me along, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.